So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be covering pretty much the second question from my post about what I should make. And so somebody said, you already talked about lords through other houses in the second house. Then you did second lord in other houses. But what about when a certain planet is in the second house? Does that, what is that doing? Meaning, like, actually Sun, Mars, Jupiter. Okay, so that's what we're going to cover when these planets turn the second house. And as always, if you do not know which planet is in your second house and what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here at astrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Maghavedic Astrology Academy, where especially on my wristwatch and wealth course, I've also put smartphone and Vastu, which is very important. It's actually now more important than even the actual Vastu of the home, because that's one thing that is with you all the time. More than even the watch, it's your phone. Anybody and everybody has a phone. That device is now like literally part of your aura. So, what happens when planets are in the second house, right? So, as we discussed, that a lord is coming to a house to feed, and second house is feeding. It's being fed, but it can't feed by itself. You see, you are the one, and I'm the one who have to feed that graha, feed that planet. It's saying that, hey, do this so I can be fed. Okay, and you can't look at planet as planets. You got to look at planets as lessons. You got to look at planets as these billion trillion versions of itself that have mutated in every single chart. So it's alive in every single chart. So when you have especially Sun in the second house, okay, so Sun has come in whose house? Sun, the king, right? The king has come to feed in the house of the princess. Or not the princess, I should say, house of Shukra, house of Venus, right? Venus is the wife. And here, Sun no longer has the authority that it always has, right? In the first house, Sun is there. In the White House, in the Parliament, right? But when it's in the second house, the president and the prime minister has gone home. And this is where Sun begins to have part of its power diminished. Okay? So it cannot no longer be authoritative, because now you're in the house of Venus, which is the wife, right? Not the queen, the wife. Queen is moon in the actual scenario of the cabinet, but the thing is, Sun has gone to the wife's house. So her wife is like, yeah, this is my home, this is my kitchen. You just need to clean your shoes, wash your hands, put your sword away, put your weapons away, and sit on the table. You see, it has losing some of the authority. So of course, when Sun goes into the second house, you will see one, because see, Sun is your purpose of birth. Sun is your purpose of birth. And so there's a purpose connected with family, whether it's your wife, kids, siblings, parents. Let's see, especially in a nuclear family. In India, you may even have your uncles and everybody living together, right? So in this particular scenario, what happens is Sun's power is diminished, and Sun does not get such an approval when it wants to advise, when it wants to say something. One will be overpowered by other people. because Venus does not care for the sun. There's an animosity between Venus and sun. So Venus is like, you know, we'll listen to you, but we're not going to just say what you say. We're going to discuss it together. And this is where you see that this individual kind of frowns in. They stay quiet. They will not get involved with the family issues because they know there's not going to be that respect when they give that advice. There's not going to be the seriousness of their counseling. But especially second house is your accumulation. Right? It's your accumulated wealth, meaning it shows what is it that you have accumulated. So with sun, you will see a lot of the ancestral principles, knowledge are given to this individual. That's what sun is feeding on. You will see with sun in the second. Oh, okay. Oh, look who's here. It's the princess. It's the queen. Who's going to disturb everything. Yes, I know. Please don't disturb my lights. So usually you will see that a person will always love to either hoard or store gold. Okay. Because that's what the king does. Jewelry. But at the same time, because second house represents the mode of accumulation, which is coming through earnings, because it's the Artha house. Oh, no. No, Penny. That thing's going to fall on you. So you will see any time when sun is in the second house and you take some form of partnership, counsel of the father, government subcontracts. You go into things connected with, let's say, energy, solar technology, anything. There's a lot of things that are represented by the sun. Any like energy generation, power generation. When you get into these type of industries, sun begins to help you to gain so it can feed itself. Now, of course, Venus is wealth. Venus shows where the money is coming from. So like, for example, Venus in the first house says, you have to make money through being an influencer or a brand in yourself. But what are you going to do to gain that brand? You're going to use the sun to gain that brand. That's what happens. So whenever this person works with this father, deals with things connected with the father, what the father was doing, somehow that part of it doesn't have to be, okay. Then if moon sits in the second, moon will say, I want to be fed. So feed me, but I'm going to show you what to do so you can feed me. So naturally, when the second house, you will see when an individual travels for work, somehow the cash flow begins to come in because moon is cash flow. When a person deals with food, chemicals like pharmaceuticals, money begins to come in. And then also, moon is everything, that a mother will represent, like hospitality. And specifically, you will see, because moon is a planet with the qualities of 16 forms of arts, sola kalais, right? So musicians, artists are seen with this. So since the moon represents change, right? It represents change. This person, in order for them to make money, have to do the type of work that changes very quickly. New things come in. Many things come in. And they even have to change their location. Because moon is travel, right? Movement, migration. So this person, it doesn't mean you have to go to foreign lands. You have to move away from where you were established as a child, grew up, and you have to move away from that place. Because that's where this then moon will help you to accumulate your second house. And especially with moon in the second, this person will, they will love collecting. You will see, it's 2024, so you can't really have collections anymore because everything is digital. But back in the days, you would see, you go to this person's home, they will have the entire cabinet full of like music cassettes, CDs, or vinyl records. They love to collect items connected with art. Like you go to their home and they will, back in the days, someone would have like a book of art sitting on their coffee table. Now, again, so see, a lot of things change. This person will also collect, things which are connected with cooking. They want to buy all these things that makes their cooking easier. One will always love collecting travel gear because that's the consciousness of collecting something. One will also, like, especially you will see with certain planets when they're with moon, I've actually seen a lot of people will collect like essential oils, right? Because it's chemicals. And especially if Rahu is also there with moon, one is going to pretty much collect medicines in their home. Then if you have Mercury, this is a very strange position with Mercury. Okay. Because Mercury, oh my God, this cat has completely ruined my whole thing here. Oh my God, the whole board is falling. Mercury's change, right? And also Mercury does not know who it is. Is it a male or female? So there's that confusion with Mercury. Here you will see, one will talk a lot and say something, but ends up doing something else. One will have very dual way of talking, not a selected way of talking. But one thing that this person becomes good at is the management of money. Is what to do with money. That's where Mercury's confusion kind of goes away. But everywhere else, whether it's dealing with family, food, sales, talking, teaching, there will always be this dualness there, which kind of becomes a little confusing. And also with Mercury, naturally you will see that a person will always somehow incline towards wanting to do business, wanting to do trade. But usually, if they have combinations of doing a job, then they will do a type of jobs where there's sales involved, where there's communication involved, and through that communication, one gets something. Mercury here will also show somebody who will be able to make money through being an analyst. And also, Mercury will also make a great bookkeeper. Somebody who keeps records of things. So when you pursue things connected with Mercury, you know, you will see, especially with Jupiter and Mercury, a person can even tell jokes because they get tremendous amount of humor. See, humor is not necessarily Mercury or Moon or Venus, it's Jupiter. Humor requires analysis of the world, having a philosophical outlook in the world, having the utmost intelligence to make something humorous. Then, Venus. So when Venus is in the second house, anything, connected with beautifying something will help you to accumulate money. Textile, clothing, and especially any form of high-end items. Venus will help you to get money through those. See, such people with Venus in the second can't just resell some cheap item on eBay or Amazon. No, they have to have like high-end name brand items that they're going to be selling. And especially Venus, which is a watery planet. Okay. You will see such a person will have a very sweet voice. Like you just want to listen to them. But you will do whatever you can to gain some knowledge from them because Venus is one of the topmost teacher in the cabinet of grahas, even higher than Jupiter. So when this person talks, people listen, people stop, people see what is this person saying. So usually you will see life coach, business coach, teachers, motivators with this Venus in the second. And of course, Venus is also money. So that means anywhere there's money that is being dealt, Venus will be giving you money through that, including even jewelry. Moon and Venus both actually will deal with jewelry. And especially even in my simplified course, I talked about, even though Venus is a watery planet, Venus has a very strong earth element. Just like Mars, Venus has a very strong earth element to it. It's not just water. It's water that is on earth, moist. It's minerals. It has something valuable. That's what Venus will represent here. Then you have Mars. So of course, Mars being in the second house, your situation will be very neutral because Mars is neutral to Venus. So here, first of all, a person become very straightforward and direct with family members. When they have to deal with something, that's it. It's just 2 lines and that's their opinion. They're out. They're like, you do what you want to do. This is what my thing is. There's this stubbornness that comes in with Mars in the second. And also with Mars in the second, one's ability to make money will happen through some form of technical skill. Without technical skills, money cannot be made. And of course, anything connected to machines. Okay, machines, engineering, and surgery. This is where Mars will bring about its quality. Anywhere where there's protection needed, guarding needed, Mars will bring you that money from there. So like, for example, let's say Venus is saying that somebody should become an actor. Somebody should become a performing artist. And then they have Mars in the second house. So what do you see there? You see, okay, if this person goes and becomes an action hero, action heroine, then yeah, somehow their chart will start supporting them. Or they do a lot of roles related to police, army. So it's going to start supporting them. Mars in the second If the younger brother is there, or especially the husband, working with them, especially if Mars is in a good condition, working with them is extremely beneficial for one's ability to make money and accumulate wealth and, have bank deposits. Because this Mars is help you need, including your best friend, because best friend is Mars. Right? Why? Because what do you say when you have a best friend? You'll say, oh man, you're like my brother. Right? So it becomes a sibling. So working with them becomes beneficial. Then, of course, you have Jupiter in the second. So here Jupiter is in the house of Venus. Okay? And there's respect between Jupiter and Venus. There's no literal animosity. So what Jupiter does, Jupiter through its intelligence obviously is able to make money. And especially Jupiter in the second house is known to be the planet of Updesh. Through talking, a person will be making money. Through teaching, person will be making money. Management person will be making money. With writing and publishing, person will make money, or especially getting somehow, even let's say, for example, somebody has Jupiter, Mercury, Ketu, Jupiter, Mercury, Moon. They can go into the business of religious items, having a shop connected with, for example, Diwali occurs, and then there's all these 100 different occasions that occur in our Hindu culture. They'll have things available for people to buy. Janmashtami happens, right? Shivratri happens, they'll have some item there. So such people can make money through those particular items. Any involvement with, religion, higher knowledge, philosophy and it has to, because you want to get fed, right? So that means you have to feed Jupiter. When Jupiter gets fed, it feeds you. That's what happens. And then you have Saturn. Saturn is in a friendly house, right? A student has come into the house of the teacher. So teacher is going to respect the student, right? When you go out to a dinner with your teacher, even though teacher would yell at you in the middle of the class, this and that, but there's this respect that occurs. And especially with Saturn, love for collecting old items, love for collecting antiques, sometimes even rusted junk a person will collect. But if that's when Shani is bad, that's when they'll do that, because that will disturb your west direction energy in your home. But see, Saturn loves to make money from a traditional process. Saturn will accumulate wealth slowly and from a source that is very consistent. They don't need change. One will actually enjoy repetitive work. Work where there is routine. Work where there is patience needed. Work which takes time to do something. For example, like R&D is seen through Saturn. And if Saturn, Mars are there, then manufacturing. Because in research development doesn't just happen overnight. An iPhone pretty much was started back in 1998, and it took till 2000. Actually, not even 1998, before that. I would say it probably took 7-8 years, 10 years to develop something like iPhone. So anything that takes time to develop and make, that's where one gets rewarded the most. But see, Saturn is naturally the significator of work itself. So of course, in second house, a person can be working with the family and even banking institute, because it's work, and second house is money and wealth and accumulation of things. So this is where Saturn, along with impact of other planets, will give a better idea of what a person should be doing. If Rahu is there, science, technology, IT, softwares, okay. Or one can be a magician. One can make money through, especially like photography, camera, X-rays. Somebody who does CT scans. This is where a person will make money through. But of course, with Rahu, you always have to see the sign that is placed in and what planets are impacting, because that's where it'll use those things with it. And the thing is, especially such a person needs to be thinking ahead in order for them to make money. You have to become futuristic, because Rahu is futuristic. You have to think people who make money in the market and they already know what is to be coming in the next 20 years. That's how this Rahu behaves. But especially, if Rahu gets connected with the sign of Moon, Venus, even Jupiter, then any work connected with coffee, teas, tobacco, that becomes a way and a mode of making money. If Venus and Rahu are there, alcohol. Then Ketu's gonna show researcher, astrologer, accountant, lawyer. Okay. Somebody who has a very specialized skill to make money. If, let's say, Venus, Mars, and Ketu are there, you can see somebody who does diamond cutting, code breaking, somebody who will even go into producing silk. You need Ketu to produce silk. So once you see these different combinations, then of course, picture becomes much more clear. But see, Ketu, first of all, cannot think about things like Rahu. Rahu is using your five senses to do something. When Ketu is in the second house, you will see a person does very well when they follow their intuition versus when they start planning. When you plan anything with the second house Ketu, plan doesn't go anywhere. But when you intuitively, you're like, I'm going to do this. That works. Like especially, with Ketu, and this is why Ketu is connected with astrology. Astrology is not about calculations. Astrology is not about consuming yourself onto a chart for hours and hours to see what's happening. It's like, if you want your astrology to be great, when you open up a chart, you need to start feeling the chart and planets and say something. For example, I was just posting in my group and just with my astrologer friends, like 4 or 5, different replies with people. And I was telling them, yes, they're telling me, oh my God, how do you know this? How did you know this happened to me and that happened to me? And then when I look back at their chart, I'm like, how did I make this prediction? It happens. Because when I'm in that time and zone, whatever I'm saying, yes, I'm looking at the chart, but something else inside me, my vocal cords are wanting to say something. That's what I got, especially when I do astrology. That whenever I say something and then they're shocked, I'm like, and I'm just looking back at the chart because I want to do my research. I want to be like, oh, this is exactly why I said this. Okay, this is the combination. I'm looking at the chart. I'm like, how would I make this thing? Why did I say this? Because that's Ketu. It's not Rahu, where you're looking at the Ashtak Varga. You're looking at the Shadbala. You're looking at the divisional charts. You're looking Kota Chakra, this and that. Then it's better to do physics in that case and mathematics. Astrology is more of the sense here. This thing has to be opened. The heart chakra and astrology comes. I'm not saying mind's open, but I'm just saying that's what Ketu does here. It cannot think. The moment you think with Ketu in the second, things go out of whack. But the moment when you just feel it and you know it, okay, those things will work out better. Now, let's say even if you take, let's say, Uranus in the second, I mean, this person is going to do something which is far away from the social norms of society. Even Rahu will take a person into some norms like IT and technology and photography, which are still seen. But Uranus is like, first of all, a person will suddenly leave their work and do something else, like a lawyer becoming a chef. This either it happens willfully or just nature takes place, where a person way of making money is not going to be understood by anybody. And then Neptune in the second, they'll make money through some mysterious way, some hidden way. Like you'll never even know, how is this person making money? What might they be doing for making money? Okay. And of course, we also see Pluto. And I know the reason why I'm including this, because I have those in my chart opened up. And so when I'm doing the readings, I'm like, wow, okay, that makes sense, because I'm seeing the Pluto there. You know, like people who deal with death, people who go into business of funeral homes, mortician, people who even go into being like criminal attorneys, detective, like they're doing detective work for law enforcement, where one has to go to such lengths and depths that only a few people are able to do it. So these are the places, like it. See, these three planets is very mysterious form of making money, which comes through analysis of the planets and especially their nakshatras. But I think people will know what exactly I'm trying to say here. Okay, so anyway, this was the planets in the second house. So hopefully now all three of the videos will make much more sense. So anyway, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss the type of videos. If you want to know everything about your birth chart, consultations, books, reports, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.